See who's partnering with Anne Arundel County Public Schools next on Food for Thought. Hi, I'm Jody Rissy, the host for Food for Thought, and thanks for watching. Today I'm joined by Nisette Moody from the Maryland No Kid Hungry campaign, and she joins me from Share Our Strength. Nisette, welcome to Food for Thought.
Thank you. So happy to be here.
Thank you again to you and to Share Our Strength for being such a valued partner for Anne Arundel County. But first and foremost, can you tell the viewers a little bit about yourself and what's your role with Share Our Strength?
Sure. So this is actually my third year with Share Our Strength, almost 4 years now. So pretty excited to be with them for such a long time and see such great change that's happened throughout the state and various counties in Maryland. I personally actually have an education background. I actually taught for about 3 years in Panama. I taught ESOL, which was a wonderful experience. And having that kind of background really helped me in this position because I work with teachers all the time and I really understand what happens in a classroom and how important nutrition is and breakfast primarily for students' achievement.
It's so funny that you say that because I think often when talking to your other partners at Share Our Strength, we often say what goes on in the schoolhouse is often so different than what we say we're going to put on paper.
Oh yes.
Right? Like,
Definitely.
This program sounds wonderful. Well, there's 80,000 students out there that are also little pieces of the puzzle, and those teachers are pieces of the puzzles, and the administrators. So that really is an interesting, great fit to have.
It is. It definitely is relatable when I talk with them. I say, I understand how it feels. I get it. I understand when teachers have concern about, instructional time. I can relate to them, so I completely get what they're coming from. But I also understand that, I used to keep food in my classroom for my kids. So I understand the work that we're doing is extremely important.
Right, and I think what they see, right, is just our breakfast and our lunch might be the last 2 meals that students have. Now, I think we're going to talk about it in our segment today of how we look traditional school day and outside the traditional school day. But what a fantastic fit. So truly an asset to Share Our Strength and especially to Anne Arundel County. So thank you.
Of course, thank you.
Can you also share, Share Our Strength and the Maryland No Kid Hunger campaign, they look at so many items, right? I think we partner often and on many initiatives. Can you share with the viewers a little about each of the initiatives and what you really work on in the state of Maryland?
Sure. So as you alluded to, No Kid Hungry definitely does a lot of initiatives throughout the state. We do a lot of things centered around connecting more kids to food, especially where they live, work, and play. So we do a lot of work connecting kids with programs that are in school, like the school breakfast program, school lunch program, as well as when kids are outside of school. So we're talking like summer meals and after school meals. But personally, I'm the Maryland breakfast manager, so I focus primarily on breakfast. So as we know, that's the most important meal of the day. And so pretty exciting to focus on a meal that doesn't quite get a lot of attention. Ironically enough, kids love lunch. They look forward to lunch. They come to school ready to go for lunch. But breakfast, for whatever reason, is just not as important, and we're trying to shed some light on a very important meal. I mean, studies show that kids who eat breakfast regularly come to school more prepared, less visits to the nurse, less headaches, more likely to have academic success, and then the trend just continues on. So we really push for this important meal because we know what happens when kids have breakfast.
It's actually a lifelong health habit.
Exactly,
right?
yes.
I mean, how many adults do we know? And in my role, so I'm a mom of 2 students in Anne Arundel County. I'm a registered dietitian.
Wonderful.
And then the supervisor of food service. So I always say, how does anybody get up and start their day without breakfast?
If I don't eat, my emails don't make any sense. Like it doesn't work. And so I can imagine a child in a math class trying to do an algebra problem or something, science or even just reading, whatever it is, it's hard to concentrate. And so, fortunately for adults, we're able to kind of maybe buy something on the go. But if you don't know what they're having at home, if anything at all. And so making sure that access to breakfast at school is easy, accessible, easy to get through, and that the kids have an enjoyable time, well, we want to focus a lot on that.
Right, and I definitely agree. In Anne Arundel County, we focus, they've got to be fueled and ready to learn.
Definitely.
And then fueled and ready to learn all summer so they can play hard and continue to be engaged and academically ready when they come back.
Right, you don't want to lose that time. because that happens a lot sometimes if kids don't get a chance to eat properly throughout the summer. All that great hard work that happened throughout the school year might be a little bit lost, or maybe not completely, but it might be harder for them to catch up once a new school year starts.
Right. Or too tired, right? I mean, they're just too tired. They might lose interest in playing, which is important. They should have physical activity and move often.
Definitely.
Or reading the book. You know, we partner more and more here in Anne Arundel County with our libraries, and all we try to do is how do we get books in our students' hands all the time, right? So as often as they can read, we just think it really helps them in the long run. And again, it's another habit that they'll keep with them.
Yes, exactly. So eating properly, all those healthy habits are great. And we focus, I don't say we focus too much on elementary school because we know that when they start young, they will probably continue. But we definitely look at elementary school and then we say, how can we move on to middle school as well as high school? So these habits are definitely continuing throughout their life. So.
We agree. So how about, let's talk about your support. So Share Our Strength has been so supportive, a partner, supportive, truly collaborate with Anne Arundel County Public Schools all the time. But can you share what are the ways you have supported us? And then how have you supported other counties? Because it's really not only Anne Arundel. I'd like to think it was only us, but I think all the jurisdictions in Maryland are very important to all of us here, even though we're obviously particularly, more pleased with Anne Arundel.
Of course. And honestly, Share Our Strength is very pleased with Anne Arundel as well. I mean, you guys are definitely the leaders when it comes to breakfast. Kind of our metric is looking at 70%. We want 70% of students who participate in free or reduced price lunch to eat breakfast. Right now, we're about 63%, which isn't too bad, but we can definitely have a little more work to do. By county, Anne Arundel County is already hitting 70%. So you guys are already there, but we can always do more. So we always look forward to working more closely with you and other schools to say, what can we do? How can we make breakfast more accessible, more fun? Even if it's just adding some breakfast posters, kind of marketing ideas, we help with that as well. So myself and our great team of coordinators, we work with principals, food service directors, even PTAs, and say, what's the challenge? Is it late buses? Is it a time issue? Is it just logistical issue of the school? Maybe the cafeteria is on one end and the school classrooms are on the other end. What can we do to make breakfast accessible, fun, and just easy for kids? You don't have to choose between eating breakfast or having classroom instruction. And so we work with all these different partners and say, what can we do to make this kind of work? Because the last thing you want to do is make it a burden to anybody. And so we kind of do a little bit of assessment, see what's going on, see how we can help, offer some marketing ideas as well, and then we also help with grant funding too. So if a school says, you know what, we want to kind of expand breakfast, let's bring it into the classroom, wonderful. What happens is breakfast will maybe double sometimes.
Sometimes
triple, exactly, which is wonderful, but that also means double, triple the amount of milk and other breakfast items. Right. So we help fund kind of different equipment, maybe a milk cooler or a refrigerator to help in the cafeteria, and our grant funding helps support that. What we do is make sure that our money, it goes to places where it's sustainable, so we know that equipment will last for years. We're not going to just buy food for today because what happens tomorrow. We'll help the school buy equipment, other marketing ideas that they can use today, tomorrow, and hopefully many years to go.
And I think we always look at it the same way in Anne Arundel County. How do we make it sustainable? And we often, I know you talked about all those partnerships, so when you're talking to the food service director and the school administration, it is so powerful when you have a school implement an alternative breakfast model being a second chance breakfast. So we offer breakfast in 4 of our high schools in Anne Arundel County after first period. It's wonderful when they have more students eat breakfast, more students do better academically, less visits to the nurse, better concentration, they're not tardy. Just all the pieces line up so well, and then that administrator basically is the cheerleader to all of our other administrators. It doesn't have to be me as a registered dietitian saying, you know how important breakfast is.
Right, yeah.
Because they're like, yeah, we heard that one before, but to hear the results from a fellow or a colleague that's another administrator is really priceless.
Exactly. The principal, even the teachers, we love to have them as champions because they interact with the kids all the time. So to see them say, hey, did you eat breakfast this morning? Or what'd you have for breakfast this morning? Or many times eating breakfast themselves in the classroom. Could be an apple, a muffin, just something quick and simple where the kids also see, well, hey, if my teacher's eating breakfast, maybe, I could eat as well.
Right, we do that in Anne Arundel County for the viewers watching. So we provide breakfast for the teachers in the classroom because we want that role modeling piece.
Exactly.
Or if it's the principal and she's going to join a second grade class, we want her to have breakfast with them. So it's so important for all of us as adults and the leaders in the buildings. The teachers are leading the charge for those students to have breakfast with them and to talk about what they did the night before.
Right.
Talk about what time they woke up. Talk about what time they go to bed.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's so many things that they can make such a positive impact on that student. And, you know, we talk about it in our show all the time, and I know it sounds, I guess, somewhat corny, but I always say if it's a healthy student, it's a healthy school, and then together we could cultivate communities of wellness.
That is 100% correct.
The child goes home and they say, you know, Mom, today we tried this at breakfast or we tried this at lunch, and we really are changing the eating habits not only of our children and the students of Anne Arundel County, but we think of the extended families as well.
Most definitely. You definitely hit the nail on the head right there. A lot of kids, you don't know what happens at home. You know, their parents may be working or the guardian may not be at the house, and so having a sit-down meal may not be very frequent for them at home. So to look forward to that when they come to school, sitting with their classmates, their teachers, and having a nice breakfast, many kids look forward to that, and they see their attendance actually goes up when there's breakfast in the classroom.
And it's funny, I think personally, we eat as a family for breakfast and we still eat as a family for dinner.
Nice.
Sometimes it's quick, it's hurried because I have to run to work, my husband's running to work.
Everyone's running.
We still do, and we still talk about, especially for dinner. And I often say to parents, and even parents watching today, ask your children at dinner time, well, what did you have for lunch? What fruit and vegetable did they offer you today at school lunch? It opens the whole dialogue, and you're eating together, just like our students eat together in the classroom for breakfast. They have so much to share, and maybe if you and I are friends, but we have other friends that we don't talk to, we're all one once we're in the classroom.
Exactly. Yep.
So it does make a difference. Now, we increased last year 650,000 meals in breakfast, which was huge.
Amazing. Huge.
How do you
Huge.
see that? I mean, we think it's huge. We felt like we clearly hit the mark, and we'll grow more again this year.
Of course.
But what are you seeing, you know, in the other counties in the state as well? Are you seeing growth for breakfast?
We definitely are. Definitely seeing a lot of growth. And like I mentioned earlier, you guys are definitely going right ahead in terms of breakfast, already at 70% throughout the county, which is wonderful. And so working very hard with the other counties to see what can we do as well to get you as close, if not hitting 70%. And so again, we offer our grant funding, we offer our resources, we offer our technical assistance to get those counties going further as well when it comes to breakfast.
Very good. Well, we only have a few minutes left.
Sure.
So if you could just very quickly just talk about the Breakfast Challenge.
Yes.
I know we've
so
participated, but in a minute, can you just kind of share with the viewers
what it is, what it's all
Yeah,
about?
2 minutes,
Sure.
share what it is.
So the Breakfast Challenge is a great way to kind of incentivize schools to kind of rally around and get excited about breakfast. We know that there's schools and counties, this is Anne Arundel County, doing a lot for breakfast, and this is a way to kind of put some light and shine about how great they're doing, and maybe help some other schools or districts who didn't know what to do to kind of get some ideas and start some breakfast marketing ideas for themselves. So with the Breakfast Challenge, it starts around the fall and ends in the winter, and then we'll be celebrating all the wonderful success in the spring, which is around March, and that's when we have like the breakfast, National Breakfast Week. So it's a great time to celebrate everything with breakfast. And with the challenge, what we're doing is asking schools to take initiative, take some action. Don't just say, yeah, I support breakfast, which is great, but let's put some action behind your words kind of thing. And so many schools have the choice of doing one of two things. They can opt to do an alternative breakfast model, what's their second chance, grab and go, or they can say, you know what, maybe we want to do that, but we're not quite just ready just yet. What else can we do? And that's when they do something called our breakfast action items, which is where they can have like breakfast nudgers in the morning, have somebody outside saying, hey, did you have breakfast today? Or what'd you eat? You should come to the cafeteria. Kind of nudging them to eat breakfast.
I like that term.
Yes, just a little nudge, like, did you eat breakfast today? Sometimes a simple reminder that way can get a kid thinking, you know what, I actually am kind of hungry. Maybe I should go grab something. So we have the breakfast nudgers. We also have social media, just talking about it on Twitter. A lot of principals tweet out to their kids every morning, this is happening. It's A day, it's B day. Say, hey, it's A day. And by the way, we have sausage biscuits in the cafeteria. Come and get them, nice and hot. Something like that. Social media is a great way to talk about breakfast. We have nudgers, social media. We have a breakfast kickoff. Make breakfast exciting in the cafeteria. Throw some music on, put some balloons, just make it seem fun and interesting. So once the schools do these different activities, we kind of judge their participation, and then we'll have some prizes. So there's a lot of different levels. There's a statewide winner. We have different winners for each district, as well as winners for different schools in every district. So a lot of ways to look up. If a school is interested, I definitely encourage them to go to the website, which is www.marylandbreakfastchallenge.org.
Perfect. Thank you very much for that quick.
Yes. There's so much
everything in a
say,
nutshell, all about the Breakfast
website
Challenge.
Has all you need to know, all the resources, all the information, why we're doing this, and the impact that we hope to have. So,
Perfect. Thank you so much, and thanks for coming in today.
Thank you.
Don't go away. I'll be right back with Kara Panowitz from the Share a Strength No Kid Hungry campaign, and we're going to talk about how we serve meals outside the traditional day.
Hi, I'm Jeannie Porter. Anne Arundel County Public Schools Department of Transportation is raising the level of awareness for the safety of your children as we transport them to and from school. When a school bus stops to load students, as a driver, this is what you will see. At 150 feet, the bus will activate hazard lights. At 100 feet, the bus driver will activate the amber lights. They will start slowing down. At 10 feet before the bus stops, they will turn on the red bus lights. Their stop sign will come out, and students will begin to load. Once all students are on board safely, the bus driver will turn off red lights and move forward. At this time, it is safe for the motorist to resume movement.
Welcome back, and thanks for staying tuned to Food for Thought. My guest is going to talk about all the meals and all the programs that we offer outside the traditional school day. Kara Panowitz from Share a Strength is going to be the next guest. Hi, Kara. Welcome to Food for Thought.
Thanks. It's great to be here.
Can you tell the viewers a little bit about yourself and what is your role with Share a Strength?
Absolutely. So I am the out-of-school time manager at Share a Strength for our No Kid Hungry campaign. That means that I focus on the out-of-school time meal programs, which is the after-school meals program and the summer meals program. And myself, I'm interested in food security because I was in the Peace Corps in Africa, saw food security there, then moved back to Maryland and thought, you know what, we have a lot of the same problems here. What can we do about this? How can we solve this problem?
And I think so many viewers really have no idea of what we do, not only in Anne Arundel County, but in all counties across not only Maryland, right, across the country, of outside the traditional school day. So what are those timeframes? Can you, for a viewer watching, outside a traditional day, what would that definition be?
So during the school year, it would be after the bell ends, weekends, and over the holidays. And then for the summer meals, the day after school ends to the day right before school starts again.
See, I love that because in Anne Arundel County, we definitely support that, and we really believe so strongly that it really does take place. If our students are out on a Thursday, the bell rings for summer break, we're ready on Monday. So, I mean, we don't do them on the weekends in the summer, but we know that that next Monday that they're coming back, we're ready to serve them. Now, in Anne Arundel County, we do many, many programs, and we reach many students. Can you share with the viewers, what do you see that we do in Anne Arundel County, and what programs are we operating, and what is the benefit for the students that we reach?
Absolutely. So I can start with what's going on currently during the school year, which is the after-school meals program. And I'm not sure how many viewers know that the free and reduced price meal rate for Anne Arundel is over 30%, which is actually over 26,000 students. That's a lot of students who are relying on school meals. But unfortunately, they can get their breakfast at school, they can get their lunch at school, but what about supper? What about dinner? And that's where the after-school meals program comes into place. And there are a lot of kids in Anne Arundel County, around the state, they have lunch at school, and they may not get a meal until they have their free breakfast at school the next day. I hear that story all the time around the state. So the after-school meals program allows schools and community sites to serve that supper to those students who are going to need it, making sure that they can get the nutrition that they need.
And what we have done, when we started a little bit slow, and I think we started slow probably purposely, right, to make sure, is this really a right fit? The second we saw the impact it made for our students, and it made for the community, and the community partnerships that we've made, it's clearly the right decision. We can't add enough schools. I know you and I work together often, so we see the schools that we add throughout the year. And every time they offer a summer program, we're able to entertain them for our dinner program, or the CACFP, which is Child and Adult Care Program, which is still through USDA. So I guess a lot of acronyms, a lot of regulations, and a lot of stipulations of how to do it, but the end result to see a child who had another nutritious meal, who is ready to learn, who is ready to focus for their after-school activities, be it physical activity, enrichment, chess club, Spanish club, whatever it would be. It really does make a big difference.
Absolutely, and especially, around the state, some of these kids are eating lunch at 10 o'clock. So it really is, they're going from 10 or 11 until breakfast the next day without much of a meal. So the after-school meals program plays a really good part in making sure they're accessing those meals.
I think one of our biggest partners are recreation and parks. So we have county recreation parks, and in Anne Arundel County we have the city. We work with both of them and we partner with both of them. But it's such a nice partnership and collaboration to know that they have the students before the school day starts and after. And if their moms and dads aren't coming to pick them up until 6 p.m., that we're there and we can fill that void and we can have them fueled and ready to go if they are running to another practice, or maybe there's not that means at home, so we know that we have them fueled. So we really see that partnership has blossomed, and the benefit to our sister agency has really paid off, and they've been so supportive of our initiatives, and likewise, we're supportive of theirs. With summer, can we spend a few minutes on summer?
Absolutely.
So, summer's pretty near and dear to Anne Arundel County. We've always supported summer. We always participated in the summer food program since I'm here for 22 years, but it was always so small, and we focused only on the students that were in the school. So talk about what you see just collectively around the state for summer programs.
Absolutely. So the summer program, I love it. It's awesome. It's so important. The kids who are during the school year relying on that breakfast and that lunch at school, they're not going to school during the summer, so they don't have access to those meals. So the summer meals program can help fill in that gap and make sure kids are getting some of the nutrition they need over summer. And it really varies per county how people run the program, and that partly depends on, do you live in an urban environment? Do you live in a rural environment? What's the best way to reach those students? But I think one of the really cool things that I love about Anne Arundel County is the Mobile Meals program that you guys do. Mobile Meals is really great because you can go to any spot you want to. You can go to an apartment complex, you can go to a park, and really meet the kids where they are, which is important because sometimes you're dealing with kids who aren't going to be allowed to cross a main street to get somewhere. So if you can go to their neighborhood, hang out with them for a few minutes, serve the meal, meet them where they are, then that's an amazing opportunity. And you guys have always done an awesome job with that. And I tell other people about your Mobile Meals program and tell them to call you and ask you about it. And I love that this past year you guys use community partners, which is really cool because not only do the kids get the meal, they get resources or programming. And that helps you guys too, because then these partners can spread the word about Mobile Meals.
And I think just jointly we can do so much more than independently. Right?
Yes,
I mean, for
absolutely.
both, because you can share our programs outside of summer or outside of dinner, right? So
exactly.
It really does. And I think for the viewers watching, the Mobile Meals really, when we started, and I know we've talked about this, we had a principal who was so interested in his community. And it was in a high need, so they had high free and reduced price meals in this community. And he said, I don't always see the parents coming to me. They're not coming to the schoolhouse. They're not coming to meet a guidance counselor or a teacher. So he put together teams to go to the families. And it was instantly, in our minds and in his, how do we not do this in the summer? So we had the support of our transportation office, which was phenomenal. So they provide us the bus and the bus driver. We would have our staff on the bus. All the food is packaged on the bus. And we went to those key locations that he was already in.
Which is great.
So he knew the families, and then it was just so nice that we got to know the families. And in a whole different light, we've had the same staff too now each year on the bus. So we've done it for quite a few years. And each year we do another enhancement. So the first year we had activities. We had ping pong and a basketball and a hula hoop, and we had things just for the kids to engage in physical activity. The second year we added more activities and some more community partners being with us. The third year we added weekend backpacks. And I think you were part of that with us.
Absolutely.
So we added food to go home on Thursday because we knew there was a void. There would be an area where they wouldn't have food. And then the community partnership has been our most successful endeavor with the Mobile Meals. Now, we talked a little bit, do most Mobile Meals that you're seeing, I think they could be on food trucks, on buses. What else are you seeing? Like, what's the transportation method for the mobile?
So it varies a lot. So there are counties that use buses, school buses like you guys do, which I think is a good thing because it's something that feels safe to the families, the parents, and the kids, and something they recognize. There is a county that has more of a food truck type feel where they actually have a little flap on a truck they lift up and the meals are delivered out the windows to the kids, which I think is a neat concept. And then there's also people who just use a van and they get signage to put on it saying, you know, school system, meals, whatever their logo or slogan is, wherever people can get the resources, whether it's from the school or from the community. So there's a lot of ways to try and make it work.
And that's what I think we're looking at. So we've been traditional school bus exactly for the reasons you said. It's a known entity. It's the giant yellow school bus and it has Anne Arundel County Public Schools on it. What a perfect fit to take that transportation method into the community. The parents knew, the students knew. And what we find is the same students come back time and time. So they come, they bring their cousins, they bring extended family, you know, of the children, you know, 18 and under. And the bond that they have with our staff, because we do start that Thursday, or if they end on a Thursday, we always start that following Monday and we go right until they come back. So we really know that they're fueled all summer. They're not going to feel hungry. They're not going to feel that they can't enjoy their summer or continue to read.
Right.
Right. And then, you know, come back ready to learn.
And that's one of the things that we talk a lot about too with nutrition over the summer. You know, there's always summer learning loss, which is an issue, and that can definitely be even more of an issue if kids aren't getting the nutrition they need over the summer.
Now, I know one thing that Share Strength liked the idea that we did, and you were also part of, is with our libraries. So.
Yes, I am super excited that you're doing that. So for after school, in the past, there have been libraries that have been involved around Maryland in the summer meals program as sites, but it hasn't really happened for after school until just recently. So I'm super excited about what you guys are doing and to see how it goes. And the fact that, so with the after school meals program, you have to have a programming or enrichment piece that goes along with it, which can be something as simple as a teacher there who's going to help with homework or open library hours at your school, depending on your location and where you are. But I think it's awesome that you guys are actually partnering with the school system to create a curriculum around early literacy that will be matched with the meals, which is just amazing. That's a really great way, I think, to kind of kill two birds with one stone and make sure kids are getting what they need nutrition-wise and the extra educational piece
right,
that they need.
Early literacy is so important to us in Anne Arundel County, and I know Dr. Arlotto strongly supports starting our early youngers early. And really having them, you know, reading and having that enrichment activity and doing the math. So I think that partnership with the library and the curriculum writers here, and we always have the nutritious meal ready to go, is really a perfect combination and something that we could really see blossoming over the years. The challenge is always going to be we need to have the library that's in a higher free and reduced price meal area, right, for the area eligibility.
Correct, yeah. But I think it'll be a really exciting model, and I think if it goes really well, it's something we would share around the state and even nationally to try and get other people to try and do the same type of programming.
And I think we only have a little bit of time left. That's one thing that we both work on often, is that not only do you come to Anne Arundel County and support us, so Share Our Strength and the Maryland No Kid Hungry campaign has been so supportive of Anne Arundel County, and I think the interesting thing is Anne Arundel County gets to come to Share Our Strength events.
Absolutely, and one of the things I love about working with you, Jody, and your county is you guys are really excited about these programs, you're super dedicated to them, you're always willing to try new things, to talk about what you're doing, and honestly, that doesn't happen all the time. So it's really great to have a partner like you guys who are really invested in making sure kids get the meals they need, the nutrition they need. And I know that you have been tapped many times to come and speak at different conferences about what you do and share your best practices. So we absolutely appreciate the partnership that we have with you guys. And it's just really great to work with people who are so motivated and want to make sure they're doing the best they can to make sure our kids are getting what they need.
No, we feel the same way. Thank you for your support, and thank you for always being there when we pick up the phone and say, how could you assist with our new program? So Thank you.
Yes, absolutely.
As you can see, the partnership with Share Our Strength in Anne Arundel County is definitely alive and well. We partner on regular school meals. We look at breakfast often. We also look at the after-school meal program and our summer meals. And just like we just talked in the segment, we often coordinate all of our efforts to collaborate together and to really make a positive impact on the students that we have in Anne Arundel County. Together, we know that we could both create healthy students, healthy schools, and really cultivate communities of wellness. If you have questions about the school meals program, you can call me at 410-222-5900. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time on Food for Thought.